So as many of you could tell, I love the Battlefield franchise. Whether it's set in the dirty trenches of World War I or the somewhat futuristic Warzone in 2042. Now, it has been some time since the rough launch of Battlefield 2042, and we are definitely due for a new addition to the series. That new addition looks very, very promising. Not very much is known about Battlefield 6, or whatever they decide to call this game, but from what they showed us in the Battlefield Labs trailer, and some of the leaked videos that the playtesters were leaking, it looks super fucking dope. I can't show you too much because I don't want to get drone striked from EA, but I'm sure if you scroll on TikTok for a bit, you can probably find some leaked gameplay. From what I can tell so far, Battlefield 6 is going to be set in like the Iraq War type era, or kind of like modern conflict-esque. It's giving me Battlefield 3 or even Battlefield 4 kind of vibes. From the Battlefield Labs trailer, the game seems to be bringing back destructive environments heavily. With buildings collapsing and RPGs flying, we are 100% getting the core Battlefield gameplay back. Now, I'm not saying that 2042 took that core away, but it was definitely lacking in the game for sure. I mean, there's basically zero destructible environments in that game, minus a few walls, but even then, it's still pretty lackluster. Okay, for the next couple of things I'm going to be talking about, it's going to be a little less fact, kind of more presumption. A lot of the stuff that I've seen about the upcoming Battlefield game has been leaks, and they're just leaks. You know, they might not even be real or in the real game when it comes out. But from what I've seen, they're going to be bringing back the regular 4-class system, so, you know, Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon, you know, the classics. I'm very hyped for that. Honestly, I was not very hyped at all for Battlefield 2042's hero shooter system. I'm getting kind of sick of the hero shooters in games nowadays, so it'll definitely be nice to be back to basic soldiers with no fancy gimmicks. Obviously, there's tanks in the games. I've seen a couple leaked clips of tanks in like very tight street alleys and like blowing up buildings. It looks super dope. Other than that, I haven't seen too many leaks. EA's been cracking down on them pretty good, which is fair. You know, they don't want their game getting leaked. I know it's only an alpha, but man, do the leaks look promising. This game looks like it's going to be fun as hell. We've had this cycle before, though, with EA, to where you get super hyped for a game, seeing trailers, leaks, stuff like that, and then it comes out as a buggy mess with less than desirable features. We've seen it 100 times before with EA. I'd like to be optimistic, though. I hope that they learned from their mistakes with Battlefront 2 and how terrible that launch was, and Battlefield 2042 with how even worse that one was. EA genuinely seems like they want to make a good game. I mean, hell, look at 2042. I played 2042 at launch, and I was really excited for it, and honestly, I couldn't defend it. Like, people were telling me it was bad, and I was running out of defense, man. I was like, yeah, I can't defend this. This is a bad game. It had crazy amounts of bugs, shitty weapon balancing, and huge maps with nothing going on half the time. It has grown severely, though, since then. With several updates, we got, in my opinion, better maps, more focused on kind of narrow engagements and like more strategy involved than previously, where it was kind of just open walk around simulator. They also completely overhauled every weapon in the game. They added like new recoil patterns so the guns felt better when you were using them, and better hit detection. There were a crazy amount of weapons and vehicles added. Anything from RPGs to new tanks. We even got like a weird drone plane that you can fly, but you're not actually in it. I don't know, it was weird, but it was cool. They still kept the operator system, but they changed it to where now each operator is designated to a specific class. So they brought back the 4-class system, finally. And with that 4-class system, each class has, I think it's roughly 3 or 4 operators in each class that only that class is allowed to use. They still have their own gadgets, but they have different perks, like Assault gets more ammo with Assault rifles. Support is faster with SMGs or something like that. I can't remember, but you get the gist. And I know it sounds like I'm glazing EA and Battlefield right now, which I kind of am, but they're doing something about their game instead of just letting it die, which not a lot of other game companies would do in the modern era of gaming. Obviously, there's a monetary incentive for them to do it. You know, if they make a game that people are playing, they make money off of it. But honestly, I think it would have probably been easier for them to just make a new game than fix Battlefield 2042. They did like a overhaul of the whole game. Like, it is very, very, very different than it was at the launch. And with Battlefield Labs coming out, more player input is going to be added into the next game. At least that's what it seems. Let's just hope that they use our player input and actually improve the game, unlike a lot of other companies haven't in the past. So with more player input, I do have a lot more faith in EA. I think they need external help from the player base. Battlefield has always been about the players, and I feel like in order for them to make a game as great as Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, even Battlefield 1 and 5, they really need to involve more players. Like, Battlefield 2042 had almost nothing to do with us. Like, it really felt like a game that was made because they needed to make a game, and then now with the new updates, it feels like they were able to finally put into motion what Battlefield is supposed to be. I know it sounds dumb, but I still have a lot of hope, man. I can't give up now. I've been with this series since the beginning. I put my time and sweat into 2042. I'm not giving up. So with all that being said, I hope you learned something today about the future of Battlefield, even though it wasn't very much, but I'm very excited. Have hope, and remember, no pre-orders.